is up, guys? It's Naff here. So today's video is just about my journey getting Prif unlocked, Prifadanis, the elf city. So starting off, I did just complete all the quests I did need to do, which was Egar's Roost, Dream Mentor, Catapult Construction, and Within the Light. Now none of these took too long, none were too hard at all, so I was pretty happy about that. And that took me about a day to complete all those. Now, all the quests were done, but there was a lot of skilling I did need to do. The requirement to get to Prif was to do the quest Plague's End, and it did have the following skill requirements: 75 agility, 75 construction, 75 crafting, 75 dungeoneering, 75 herblore, 75 mining, 75 prayer, 75 ranged, 75 summoning, and 75 woodcutting. So a lot of 75s, and I quite frankly didn't have a lot of them, especially the difficult ones. So this essentially is going to cover what I was doing and how I got it, just I guess for an understanding for other people as well, of an idea what they can do if they are like me, not missing a lot of these skills and not too sure to train. So starting off with mining, I did train at the empty throne room. Now I did get the mining pet, that was great. So essentially the empty throne room, you can get 800,000 experience there, no more. Once you hit that limit, you can't gain experience there anymore. Now once I hit that cap, it actually only got me to 74. I did have to look at alternative methods. So I did start doing shooting stars. It is a D&D whereby these stars spawn randomly throughout the game and you have to go find them. Now there is a friends chat for them. I will pop it up on the screen though, exactly what the friends chat is. I believe it's star find, star space find, but I'll confirm it and have it come up. It's a D&D though, they're not permanently up. They'll call the ones that are up, but regardless, once that was done, I went to Granite and I finished off 75 mining there. But star find is very good, although the stars aren't always up. So when they're not up, by all means I recommend Granite. It's not too bad, you can bank them for summoning. Next I did agility at the empty throne room. Now the wilderness course is faster if you're using the demonic skull. It's very good experience per hour, but I got ganked. I got ganked a few times. I always got away because I took monkfish and ran away. But once I tabbed off and I died. So I was annoyed. I didn't want to buy another skull, so I went to the empty throne. The experience per hour is pretty good, but unfortunately it's a little bit tedious going between the bikes. Now next I had to get 75 crafting. So to do that I wanted to make silver tiaras. So I did temple tracking. The tokens I'm currently redeeming took me about 7 hours to get. I did get the full lumberjack outfit in the meantime, so I was pretty happy about that. And I did actually get more silver bars than I needed. I had about 2,000 or 2,500 left over. So you can probably do temple trekking for about 6 hours and get enough. Now I was doing hards. I was always doing the hard trek. Now I still ended up getting some lower tier tokens just because how the mini game works. But regardless, as you can see, I had more than enough of these tokens. And if you were interested in leveling crafting, this in my opinion is a very effective method, as you get the lumberjack outfit, that's great. I pretty much got all the followers to max. Only the hard ones on either course I had at around 90, not completely maxed at 99. But regardless, I got a lot of things done by farming these tokens, and it wasn't too hard. Temple checking is relatively simple. I may make a more detailed guide on it in the future if anyone's interested, but regardless, temple trekking is great for Ironman. So I even had enough, so I started redeeming some sharks because I do want a PVM very soon. I'll need some good food like sharks and I need to get cooking up. So there we go, that's everything from all those tokens, a fair bit of loot there. And now I'm just finishing off 75 crafting. This didn't take long at all, about 6 hours from level 70. It sounds like a long time, but considering it was AFK, I didn't mind. And there we go, that's crafting done. Next I did ectofungus with bones. I got about 300 frost dragon bones with frost dragons with a tortoise. Now this took me about an hour and a half to farm those bones. Now I did have a few accursed ashes, which is what I just used from when I did the Zamorak video, krill. Now they're great because you don't have to grind them like I'm grinding these frost bones, which you can see just from the last few, it's very slow. So if you have a lot of ashes and you want to do this, it's a lot quicker. You still have to collect the slime, but it's still much quicker than having to grind bones. And arguably you can just not do this at all. But if you do want the first age outfit I'm wearing, which gives prayer bonus, it is 1,000 tokens per piece of the outfit. Getting 75 prayer here only got me 3 pieces of the outfit. I don't believe the bone quality impacts on the amount of tokens you get, or if it does, it's not by much, because doing all those frost dragon bones, I did only get 3 pieces of the outfit, but that's okay, I'll get the rest of it later. So that's 75 prayer done, so I was pretty happy with that. Okay, so with summoning, I had a lot of spirit gems from Slayer primarily. So the first thing I did was I converted them all to ruby gems. So essentially what you can do with these is you can merge them all into one gem of that type, or you can upgrade them. And upgrading them just means they have a higher % chance of saving the charm. So for me, ruby was good. That's a 30% chance of saving your charm. So I could have done a higher percentage, but it meant you would save less. So I was happy with 30%, so I converted them all to ruby, and then I forged them all into one ruby. So again, all it means is when you craft summoning pouches, you have a chance of saving the charm, not the secondary, just the charm. And I was mainly going to be using blue charms to get from 70 to 75. I'm just doing that now, converting them all to spirit rubies. Now, to level summoning, I made Mithril Minotaurs until 73. Then I made Obsidian Golems, which was with Crimsons using Obsidian Charms. Now, I had Obsidian Charms from farming an Obby Cave. So if you've gone to the fight caves and just killed the minions in that area, they drop Obsidian Charms. And it's a really good thing for Ironman. They're not hard to farm. They're pretty easy to kill. And then following that, I made Granite Lobsters with the Granite I mined. So all of it was pretty easy secondaries I already had a hold of. Okay, so that's 75 summoning done. Now, in terms of the pouches, I could have ran them and converted them back to shards, but I actually decided to alch them. A lot of them had high alch values. Quite frankly, I'm not 100% sure if it was better gold value to convert them all than sell back the shards for gold or to alch. But I just went with the alching. It seemed like it would be worth it to me. So a lot of these pouches were worth 2.5 to 3.5k each. So that seemed like a fair bit of gold to me. So I've actually went ahead and alched all this. And also I looked through my bank for anything else I could find that was alchable as well, because I knew construction would cost me a lot of gold and I didn't want to have to farm gold. So I went ahead and alched as much as I could. Okay, so now I'm at my kingdom. I do need mahogany logs because I do plan on making mahogany tables for construction. Now, I haven't looted my kingdom about 50 days. So here we are. I'm hoping for a lot of mahogany logs. I know I need about 8,000 roughly, so I wasn't too sure. And I also wanted everything else in coal because I will use it for Artisan's Workshop at a later date. But I wasn't too sure. I really haven't looted my kingdom in a very long time, and I've never done mahogany logs. So I was a bit skeptical on whether this would give me enough, but I definitely didn't want to woodcut it. So I had enough. I was very happy with the amount I got. I was surprised with how much I got as well. Even the grand exchange value was pretty good if I was a Mainscape character. It's pretty good profit. And the gems were really good too in the coal. That was a lot of coal for how little I only put half the resources in, or whatever you want to call it. So I definitely had enough logs. Now in terms of the gold, I would need to actually have these converted to planks whilst doing construction. I wasn't too sure if I would have enough gold, but definitely planks wasn't an issue. So I was very happy with that. And I now just had to get stuck into construction as my last skill before I would be able to unlock the Plague's End quest. On my way with construction, now it's very quick. Mahogany, I think in all honesty, Teaks was cheaper, as in you would need less gold to level up. The Mahogany tables was very fast. It was definitely faster than Teaks if I did that. So I did end up getting 65 construction and being left with about 80k. So I ran out of gold. It was a little bit annoying. So I had to actually stop and go farm some gold. So pretty big momentum killer, but regardless, I went to my #1 place for gold, gargoyles. So after about 8 hours of gargoyles, 8 to 9 hours, pretty much the whole afternoon and the next morning, I did gargoyles. Now that left me with about 8.1 mil cash. Pretty happy. I was pretty confident that was enough. I had a lot of time, so I tried to figure out how much gold I would need, and I had a pretty good idea. I thought I'd need about 8 mil, so that's why I got 8.1. And I had a few arrows to sell as well. I did end up having enough gold, so there we go, 75 construction. This was very quick, took me no longer than 2 to 2.5 hours, and I'm pretty slow at construction, honestly. It's one of my least favorite skills, and it's why I'm glad I did mahogany still instead of teak. Granted, I had to spend a lot of time farming gold. I still didn't have to do the skill construction very long, so happy days. So pumped to actually be done with Plague's End. I'm glad this grind's finally over with all these skills. So the total cost to go from 55 to 75 was roughly about 11.4 mil gold, just gold, to get from 55 to 75 doing mahogany tables. And it did take about 8,000 mahogany logs. And that was with these pieces of the construction outfit from Temple Trekking, and also the chisel, which you get from the God Statues monthly D&D. So pretty good. Something to refer to if you are going for similar goals if you're an Ironman trying to get to Prif. But regardless, I'm pretty happy to be done with that skill. And now I'm going to move on to complete Plague's End. So here we are. This is Plague's End completed. So I was so happy to have this done. Quite frankly, this quest was a lot easier than it did look from the guide. The boss fight at the end was pretty manageable using sharks. But I did take a fair bit of damage even in my tier 70 gear. So keep that in mind. But regardless, I was so happy to be done with it. quite frankly, if you had got up to this quest, Morning's End Part 2 with the Temple of Light, that was literally the worst quest that I can ever think of doing on this account. So if you've done that quest already, this will be no problem. The puzzle at the end, or the puzzles we had to bounce the light, was nothing. It was really not too hard at all. You wouldn't even really need a guide. I used the guide obviously, but it's pretty manageable even without the guide. It was pretty self-explanatory. But there we go. That is Plague's End complete. So very excited to be able to access Prif now. Just the amount of AFK things I'll be able to do. So going forward, there are a few things I do want to get access to with Prif. I'm pretty keen to actually get my dungeoneering up to 95 so I can access the resource dungeon, which has divine locations which you can do daily. It's a really good way to be able to get free rocktails and sharks, and for me to level Hunter because I hate Hunter. So that will be a goal in the near future. I also want to get some crystal equipment, so I'll be spending a lot of time on that harp because it's amazing to be able to get free crafting and construction experience for no resources, and it's AFK. So this whole grind with the skills and the quests actually took me a whole week. Well, actually I tell a lie, it took me about 5 days. So it was quite a grind for me. I'm very glad to be done with it. But in my opinion, Prif and the Plague's End quest is probably the most rewarding quest chain in the game. But that's just my opinion. There are a few other very useful and crucial quest rewards, such as the curse prayers and such. So, but for me it was Prif. I've always wanted this since starting this account. So I was so happy to be done with this. And it gives me a lot of access to level all these other skills, and I'm pretty keen to be able to just do everything at Prif, so I'll be getting stuck into that. I do hope to actually make a PVM video pretty soon though with my Ironman, so stay tuned for that. And if you have any suggestions or recommendations on what you want me to kill, by all means throw it out there. I'm happy to do anything which I haven't already done. So, and I also have to get some supplies together. I'm pretty much out of prayer pots after doing that Zamarok video. But anyway, so if you've stuck through this whole video, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.